What's up, family? What's happening? What's going on? It's Thursday. I know I normally start off with a question, but didn't start off with a question this time. But don't worry, something coming. All right. But anyway, hey, it's Thursday. Welcome to the Anti-Negativity Network. Back here again, another Thursday to make it do what it do. Hope you're good, having a great week so far. So yes, y'all know. I'm already excited. Why? Because it's Thursday, 6:30. This is what we do on Thursdays at 6:30. And so I get excited about this, and I'm looking forward to what God has to say. And so, yeah, I'm excited, and as I always am. And I'm excited because I'm about to bring this beautiful lady in, and let me go ahead and get her up on here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. So, but there she is. There she is. What's up, baby?
Hey, what's up?
What's happening? So, but yeah, let me go here. Let me go here. So I'm gonna tell you another reason why I'm excited. Another reason why I'm excited because 2 days ago, April 1st, not only is my son's birthday, but it marks 5 years been doing this. 5 year anniversary was Tuesday. And so yes, I'm just truly, absolutely thankful. 5 years of doing this. And it's hard to believe it's been 5 years, but I just look back over the years, um, and the growth and the things we've talked about, the things we have shared, um, just sharing God's word, just trying to encourage you to be the best that you can be, um, and just doing a little bit every day, just a little bit every day, right? Just continue to make strides to whatever it is you're supposed to be doing, right? I always try and encourage you to do that. And so 5 years into this, still here. And yes, I'm still excited. I think I'm more excited than I was from the very beginning. I think I get a little bit more excited every time I do this. So, yes, and today is no different. So, but babe, you got anything you want to say to him?
Well, yeah, it's just amazing how we um, get to know God more by studying His Word.
Yeah,
And the more we study His Word and the more we get to know Him, the
yeah,
more we fall in love with Him. And it's just an excitement. It's just, a desire that
yeah,
that never goes away,
yeah,
And it's just amazing. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and I'm just truly thankful. I guess I'm still amazed because, you know, it's not like we holier than thou that we done dotted every I, crossed every T. Um, we filthy rags just like everybody else, right? So,
Absolutely.
oh, my head cut off. Who head cut off, Mama Jane? I'm
Uh,
sorry.
oh, you got to back up a little.
Is it me?
Yeah,
We right there?
yeah,
Eh. Okay.
yeah. Just
All right.
okay,
But
there you
anyway,
go.
that's the split screen thing. But anyway,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, I'm just amazed because to be chosen by him to do this, and the reason why I say I'm chosen to do this is because if I wasn't chosen, I promise you I wouldn't have something to talk about every week. I promise you that, right? Um, it would be a struggle for me to come on here and be able to say something to you if I wasn't chosen by God to do this, right? And it's not because Ron is all of that or Deb is all of that. I mean, she all that to me, but you know what I'm saying. But it's not that, you know, we have dotted every I and crossed every T. We all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, right? So that means that person that you're watching on TV, your pastor, your first lady, your mama, your daddy, everybody, all of us have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But because he chooses to use whomever he wants to use, whenever he wants to use them for his glory, I'm one of those right now. Okay. And for 5 years, he's been using us to come on here and just encourage you through his word. And baby, you're right. You know, the more that you study it, the more you read it and you learn, it is exciting because it just builds on itself. But you can also take it and just relate to everything that is happening out here in this world. Everything in your life, there's something in the Bible that can speak to it. that can also help you get through it, right? And so I'm just excited about that. I really am. I'm really excited. And because this is our 5th year anniversary, I want to do this again. I did this once before, but I want to do it again. So if you can think of the 2 scriptures that this is based off of, for 5 years I've been doing this, but it's based off of 2 scriptures. If you know those 2 scriptures, you can let me know what they are. You can inbox me or you can put it on here. But the first one that can give me both scriptures that this is built on, Anti-Negativity Network, coming in here every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. If you can tell me those 2 scriptures, I'm going to get you a t-shirt. Pray, plan, prepare, proceed t-shirt. Okay? So that's if you want it. Okay? But so that's just a celebration because again, 5 years we've been doing this, and I just give God glory for that he's entrusted us enough to do that and has continued to give us what we need to be able to just share his word and hopefully encourage you to be the best that you can be for 5 years. I'm just thankful for that. So, babe, you got anything else before we gonna move on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here, this is what I want to do, because last week we talked about, we was in chapter 41 of Genesis, and we was talking about Joseph, and Joseph being elevated, and then we closed out with Joseph having 2 sons, and but I want to talk about Joseph a little bit more before we go into chapter 42. And really I just want, because the more I think about Joseph, I really believe that we can kind of get something out of his life and what took place. And there was a lot of things that took place in Joseph's life, but some people you can look at it and you can say, well, he kind of caused some of these things, but then you can also look at it and say he didn't cause any of these things, right? And so I got to just going back and looking at Joseph's life, and Joseph was the son of Jacob and Rachel, and Rachel, Jacob worked hard to get Rachel, right? It was Rachel and Leah, and he, I'm not gonna go back to the story on that one, but the bottom line is Jacob, Rachel was his first love, right? It was like love at first sight. And so he always had something special for Rachel, right? And so out of that union, they had a son named Joseph. So from right there, that was Jacob's favorite child was Joseph, okay? And so Joseph was not liked by all the other brothers, okay? One reason why they didn't like him is because if you read, I think it was back in chapter 37. I think I wrote it down. Chapter 37, he actually snitched on his brothers, okay? And so, you know how they say snitches get stitches, right? So, unfortunately, Joseph snitched on his brothers. He went back and told his father, Jacob, he didn't give him a good report. He didn't give his father a good report about his brothers. So, of course, that started some animosity right there. Well, that added to the animosity because he already had animosity because of the fact that they knew how Jacob felt about Joseph, okay? And they already knew that Jacob had something special in his heart for Joseph, and because that was the son of his first love,
Rachel.
Rachel, thank you. Thank you, babe. See, that's another reason why you had to be on here. Keep me straight. But, so you got that part going on right there. So that one dynamic, okay? And then the next dynamic was he started having these dreams, okay? And he had a couple of dreams, and he went back and told his brothers that dream, and basically they took from it that you, in this dream, we're going to be bowing down to you. So, of course, they took exception to that as well, okay? So you'd already snitched on me, okay? And now you will come back and talk about your dream saying that we're going to be bowing down to you. Well, Joseph told him the dream. He doubled down on that because he had another dream, and this time he went back, not only did he tell his brother, but he went back and told his father. And his father took exception to that, okay? And so, people might want to take a look at those things that he did and say, well, the rest of the things that took place next in his life might have been caused from that. Well, I'm not here to argue that. But next thing happens is his brothers plot on him. They plotting to kill him. Well, one of the brothers, Reuben, the oldest brother, said, no, let's not kill him. But what they ended up doing was selling him into slavery. So he got sold into slavery. And then from there, he's now in the house, in Potiphar's house. But he gets there and he has favor with Potiphar. And so now he's in charge and has jurisdiction over everything in his house, right? He's in charge of all of that because he had favor with Potiphar. Well, Potiphar's wife took a liking to him, a little bit more liking than she was supposed to. And he kept denying her. Well, she didn't like that. She didn't like being denied. She didn't like being told no. Because he told her no, and he kept telling her no, and he got away from her to show that he meant what he said. And so she cries bloody murder and goes snug and lies on him. Next thing you know, now he's put in prison. Because, of course, Potiphar is going to believe his wife, right? So because she does that, now he has now become an enslaved because he was sold into slavery by his brothers. And now he's in prison. So now he's an enslaved prisoner. And then on top of that, he's in prison. He found favor with the guard that's in charge of the prison. So by him having favor with the guard put him in charge of certain things. And they didn't even care what he was. They didn't even think about what he was in charge of because they knew it was going to be taken care of. Okay. So I'm just trying to give you this story, how things have been working for Joseph. I'm going somewhere with this, but I want you to just think about this. So I'm just trying to give you the outline of his life. And so he's in prison and he's in charge of certain things, and they give him, the autonomy to take care of that. Okay. Well, while he's in prison, he encounters two gentlemen. They put him in charge of them, and quite honestly, he's a prisoner having to serve other prisoners. And there was these two, the baker and the cupbearer. Okay, baby, you got anything so far?
Yeah.
Okay, and so now you got the baker and the cupbearer in there. They have a dream. They got two dreams, a dream apiece, and he tells them the interpretation of their dream. And it actually comes to pass exactly the way that he explained the dream to them that they had. And so after that, but he did tell the cupbearer, who was the one that actually survived, after Pharaoh decided to bring them out of prison, he actually kept the cupbearer. Unfortunately, the baker lost his life. But the cupbearer and Joseph had this conversation. The cupbearer was supposed to go talk to talk to Pharaoh on Joseph's behalf. Well, the cupbearer got out and just didn't even think no more about Joseph. All right. Now, I know we can probably stay right there for a little bit because all of us have experienced like that, experienced something like that. Somebody was supposed to go do something for you and they forgot all about you. All right. So, but we're going to move on. And so now Joseph is now in prison for a couple more years because the cupbearer never said anything to Pharaoh. But then finally something happens. Pharaoh ends up having his own dream, and the dreams really disturbed him. And as a result, the cupbearer remembered, okay, yeah, there was a guy in prison that interpreted my dream. So he told Pharaoh about him. So it finally came to pass where the cupbearer told Pharaoh about Joseph. So he finally goes there and tells him about, and so Pharaoh goes and asks for him, asks them to bring Joseph to him so he can interpret his dream. Okay? And remember, I think I talked about I talked about a couple weeks ago. Joseph didn't just go no any kind of way. Joseph went on, he knew this was his opportunity. He'd been waiting for this moment. This is the time he needed. And so he finally takes this moment but he makes sure that he goes and get himself right. He cleaned himself up, put his good clothes on before he went to Pharaoh. He ain't just go no Pharaoh any kind of way because he knew this was his opportunity. Sometimes you only get one opportunity to make a good first impression. You bet not waste it. Okay, you bet not waste that one opportunity that you're going to get, because you just never know if you're going to get another chance. Okay, don't waste the opportunity that comes to you. So that's one thing right there you want to get out of this, and that's exactly what Joseph did. He did not waste his opportunity, and so now he interprets this dream that Pharaoh has, and now as a result of it, now he has now moved up to second in command in the entire country. The entire country, he is second in command. So he's basically like the vice president. Okay? But the president is giving him autonomy to do and do everything. And the only thing that he doesn't have jurisdiction over is anything that deals with the actual office. So, why did I have to go through all of that? That's a good question. That's a great question. And let me answer that question for you. Because the bottom line, I talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again, because I just really feel like it's worth us talking about and hopefully encouraging you. You're looking at your situation and you wonder why things have happened the way it has happened. The one thing about Joseph is that even though Joseph was dealt a bad hand in a lot of ways, God's favor over his life was always evident. And the people around him knew that. Okay? But it wasn't time for him to be elevated when he thought he was supposed to be. And so sometimes that's what's happening with us. We are in a holding pattern. But that holding pattern you in doesn't mean God forgot you. Doesn't mean that he don't love you. Doesn't mean that you don't have no favor in your life. Doesn't mean that he done kicked you to the curb. No, he's got you there for you to learn, for you to grow, and for you to be ready for when it's your turn to make the move. It wasn't time for Joseph. Joseph had to go through what he had to go through in order for everything to manifest itself. But it's also amazing, the gift that God gave him through dreams made a difference, not only in his life, but it made a difference in other people's lives. That's how God used him to elevate him. So God is going to use you and may already be using you in certain ways that he doesn't use others. It's just for you. But I don't want you to miss out on what God is doing in your life. He's got you in this position for a reason. You're wondering why you're not getting the promotion yet. You're wondering why things are just not flowing the way you want them to flow. And yet you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're being humble. You not trying to kick up no dust, right? You're just trying to do what you're supposed to be doing. And you're wondering why you're not moving forward yet. It's just not your time yet. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. You have to stay where you at and trust the process. He's got you. He's working on you. He's doing it on your behalf, setting it up, because what he was doing with Joseph, setting Joseph up to be in a position that just amazing, right? He come from the enslaved prison to being second in command in the whole land. But that's not something that's just going to happen overnight. It can happen with God, but that is not his plan. His plan is for you to work and continue to grow and be ready, get ready for when it's time for him to move. When it's time for him to put you where you're supposed to be, he's going to make sure you're ready. You're not ready yet. Sorry, but not sorry. I got to tell you the truth. You're not ready yet. But stay where you're at. Learn all you can. Ask the questions. Get the understanding. Dig deeper. Figure it out. Stop complaining. Go figure it out. Learn all you can, because you're getting ready for what he has for you. Baby, you got anything? I'm sorry. I done got off of my tangent. I'm sorry.
Well, one of the things that I did notice is that, like you said, God had Joseph in a holding pattern,
Yeah.
and it wasn't his time yet. But also, not only was Joseph going to be blessed or did get blessed?
Yes.
God had plans for his brothers. And
Yeah.
know we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so he has plans for other people as well. So he knows the whole
Yes.
picture. So it wasn't just about Joseph
Right.
either. You know, God
Right.
had promised Abraham, you know, your descendants are going to be in charge, you know,
He was going to be the father of many nations,
father
and
of
his
many
descendants
and his
will
descendants,
be
etc.
blessed from that.
And so
Yeah.
God already knew that, you know, he had to put Joseph in position
Yeah.
to also save all of his, you
Yep.
know, brothers
Yes.
as well, so that,
Yep.
you know, they wouldn't die,
Right.
etc. So again, your holding pattern, your move, and your blessing is not just for you,
Yes.
but it's for the other people that's going to come under you or to you to be blessed as well.
Absolutely. Because even while you was talking about it, if you think about it, when he was sold into slavery by his brothers, see, God has a plan. He already got all that stuff worked out. We just don't see it and understand it. But he already got all that worked out. But when he was sold into slavery and ended up with Potiphar, if you read about Potiphar, Potiphar was blessed tremendously just from Joseph being in his household. Joseph's presence in his household allowed Potiphar to be abundantly blessed. Like he had some stuff, he received some stuff simply because of Joseph's presence in his house. And so some folk are being blessed simply from your presence. And you looking at it like you are not being blessed. No, you are a blessing. You're being a blessing because what you have on the inside of you is needed for the people around you. But you just got to stay the course. Keep pushing. Keep going. Keep grinding. Keep learning. Keep getting understanding. Keep building. Keep asking questions. Just keep going. You cannot quit now because you're that close to going where God wants you to be. But he has you exactly where he wants you. He know what's going on with you. He know what the folks saying. He know how the folk plotting on you. He know all of that stuff. And he's controlling all of that stuff so that you can continue to grow and flourish where you're at. Because when it's time for him to plug you in to where you're supposed to be, to really come out and be what he has called you to be, it's going to be awesome. You just got to stay the course. You can't quit. You can't fold up. Okay? Yeah, it gets hard sometimes. I'm sure with Joseph, he's sitting up in prison. Like, why am I here? And I haven't even done anything. He didn't do it. He didn't do anything wrong with Potiphar. Then once he got up in there, he interpreted these guys' dreams, and this guy takes the dream and run with it and forget all about him. So now he spends all this time. 13 years he was in Egypt. I don't know how many years he was in prison. The Bible didn't say. But I know at least 2 years after those guys had left out of prison, he had to serve. So he spent this time in prison for something he didn't do. Now, I know we done heard that before, too. So the Bible is relatable to where we at, what we live in. If we just take the time and read his word, we can relate a lot of these things that we're reading to what's happening in our lives, what's happening out here in this world. So I just want to encourage you to stay the course. Don't quit. Don't give in. Joseph is an example of that. He could have folded a tent. He could have said, I'm out of here because you did me wrong and I have no idea why I'm sitting in prison. And all I did was tell you about a dream I had. Then I go in and I actually interpret dreams, which is what God has called me to do. I'm just doing what God told me to do, and I'm still sitting here in prison. The next thing you know, he's second in command, just like that. Stay the course. Don't quit. Stay right there. Learn all you can. Learn everything you can. because he got you. I promise you he got you. Baby, got anything else before we close out?
No, I'm good.
You there?
Can you hear me?
No, I didn't hear you. What'd you
Oh,
say?
okay. No.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I wanted to touch on 42 because literally I got to let it pass by. Okay. But I wanted to touch on chapter 42. Well, we're going to do that on next week. And I'm not going to promise you if I'm going to be able to get past verse 1. But we're going to see how that goes because verse 1 is enough right there where we can talk about for a minute. But read 42 is a big chapter, another big chapter, but read 42. But verse 1, I just simply want to say this. Why you still sitting there looking? I'm going to leave that right there. We're going to see you next week at 6:30. Love you. Pray, plan, prepare, proceed. Go make it do what it do. See you next week at 6:30.
All right.